What's up, everybody? Dr. K here, ICU physician, and I want to talk to you guys about the cost of some of the care and some of the meds that we're given. Okay, so I came to the realization, or somebody forwarded me this information that Ozempic, if you're in the U.S., can cost you over $10,000 per year. Okay. That's a whole different issue, by the way, why the meds are so expensive. But $10,000 per year. And if you think about what you could do individually with $10,000 per year for your health and wellness, it there's so many possibilities. And I really I really feel like we need to rethink how we're approaching health. Obviously, we have this incredible system for when you're acutely ill, we could treat you well. You come in with your heart attack, your stroke, your trauma, your ruptured aneurysm, landing in ICU. We're good at saving lives. This is where our system provides miraculous care, as far as I'm concerned. But what are we doing? What are we investing in to prevent you from landing in hospital right now? So $10,000 for Ozempic. You have pre-diabetes, you are 30 pounds, 40 pounds overweight. Number one, do I think Ozempic has a role in health? Absolutely. I mean, if I were struggling with my weight and I was pre-diabetic or diabetic, would I take Ozempic? Yeah, I'd take Ozempic or a GLP-1. I would take it as long as 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 well as doing my lifestyle changes to really make sure that those changes are lifelong, not just a Band-Aid, right? Because you stop taking Ozempic, or many of the concerns recur. Your weight can come back, and etc. So to me, if we can empower folks and invest in people individually, like think about it from a nutrition perspective, getting further education from what foods we should be focusing on, whole foods, thinking about protein intake, avoiding ultra processed food, which is obviously linked to so many conditions, including diabetes, obesity, some cancers. I really think there needs to be an education piece. I really feel like if we had provided people with the means, they could make those healthier choices. They don't have to rush to McDonald's. They don't have to rush to the ultra packaged, ultra processed food. Like, this is where I feel like we can better serve our public. Thinking about what we could invest in to make them healthier and avoid landing in acute care. Same thing with exercise. And in fact, especially for our youth, I think every kid, if they want the ability to be active, to join a team sport, to be part of a gym, to be active, we should be not having any barriers, zero barriers, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I have three kids. Some of them play hockey, some of them play football, some play soccer, basketball, and we're in Canada, right? And playing hockey, like, let's be honest with you, it's not an inclusive sport. You got to have the means for the ice time. The fees are super expensive. Whereas I think of what we've created in football, shout out to Bel Air football, where any socioeconomic environment is appropriate, because often football is subsidized. You don't have to pay for your own equipment. It is so inclusive. And this needs to be the approach for sport. This needs to be the approach with exercise. We are so often recluse. We're with our screen times, with winter months. Like, what can we do to promote active kids, right? Like, we know there's rates of diabetes, rates of obesity are all going up. Mental health disturbances are going up. And if you think, in my humble opinion, if you get your kids moving, if you get not just kids, the population moving, I could promise you mental health will improve. I could promise you that the need to have the stress to leave and all these things will diminish. More active society that is improving their mental health, their physical health, like less likely to land in acute care, to me is where our heads need to be. And even at a, take away from, at a more societal level, like I had a friend that just got back from the Netherlands. He's talking about how we were walking everywhere, we're biking everybody. It was so easy. Like the city was designed for movement and community. And I know these solutions can't be happening overnight, but let's move towards that. Let's move for a more walkable, active city. Put up more outdoor gyms. I've seen this. We were in Paris. They do this in Ottawa too. I think at Mooney's Bay. Got an outdoor gym. Straight up, you could do some elliptical. You could do some pull-ups. You could do some push-ups, sit-ups, all these things. And not only is it accessible, but it's also like, hey man, I just saw my neighbor Willie throw down some chin-ups. I'm kind of inclined to do the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it's contagious. So let's move towards that. Let's be the change and let's invest in our future. Because let me tell you, from an ICU perspective, I'm going to just tell you what I see when people land in ICU. A good percentage of patients land in ICU because of lifestyle risks, obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Many of them are related to lifestyle choices. And of course, there's external pressures from that perspective, socioeconomic, etc. But regardless, a good percentage is related to lifestyle choices. And when people land in ICU, people don't really fully comprehend the impact. 18 to 20% of our patients won't make it, pass away. Second, if you get through ICU, you often have significant morbidity or functional decline. You're not the same person. You're not necessarily able to do all the fun things that you want to be able to do. Third component of that is how it affects your family. You got somebody that, like I did a recent post or talked about a patient that had lack of access to primary care and ended up in ICU from complications of an infection. And as a result, that family's not working. Their spouse isn't working. They got to help get support for watching their kids. Grandparents got to be flown in to help support them as well. Like the ripple effect of having a sick loved one is significant. So, and then look at the cost. Like I'll give some concrete examples. ICU is roughly $3,000 a day US. If you look at our COVID patients as an example, we average about 50,000 admission for a COVID patient in ICU. And if you think, if we could prevent even a few of these admissions, the amount of resources that would be saved, and if we could divert them or allocate them to the preventative side, I honestly feel like this would be momentous. And personally, I want to see a movement. I want to see us start talking to our healthcare professionals, our government, all like everyone that's been affected by health. If you're serious about this is where we need to go. Let's be active. Let's think about what we're ingesting and be active in prevention, active in avoiding trying to land in ICU. Prevention over prescription. That's what I'm talking about. Right? If you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe. Check out guidenutrition.com. All the things. We love you. Thanks for listening.